We are getting ready to leave Elk Rapids, and we're going to attempt to go all the way to Manistee today, which is I think about 108 miles. And there's quite a bit of wind and waves, so I have prepped the boat for the worst, because we've been in the worst, so I know what happens. I took down the lamps, and these are all going to get covered up with this blanket. This is my rock collection. That's a big Petoskey. And took everything down from up there, as you'll have a lot up there. Still have to go in there and get that lamp down. Took down all the goodies that usually sit here, and everything there could dump over. And put everything down, wrapped with towels, and just getting everything nice and secure in case we rock and roll. I also padded a lot of things in the cupboards, and the oven rattles a lot, so I put a lot of towels around everything in there. So we'll be getting going in a few minutes. Leaving Elk Rapids. Going out. Windy day. We don't know what we're going to run across, so. Are we going to make it, hon?
I hope so. It's this rough in here. We're not even on anywhere near the lake yet.
Yeah, I know. Scary. By Elk Rapids. We were here for 2 weeks and 4 nights. Long time. It was great though. Had a great time. See what the conditions are here. Wherever stay. We might be crazy, but we're going to attempt it. Supposed to calm down this afternoon. I sure hope they're right about that. Here comes the sun.
This morning we're in Grand Traverse Bay. This is Mission Point. You're looking at it in distance. It's through the isinglass. We're headed around out of Grand Traverse Bay and hopefully down to Frankfurt, if not all the way to Manistee. But even in Grand Traverse Bay over in the East Arm, I just wanted to show you that we're looking at 582 feet deep, and we're not too far from shore. So this is the Mission Point area that we're going to go by and head out into Lake Michigan. Hopefully it gets a little wind settled down a little bit later on this afternoon around the big lake.
Earlier in the week, when we were staying at Elk Rapids, we took a visit to the Mission Point Lighthouse. It happens to be exactly on the 45th parallel, which is halfway between the North Pole and the equator. You can see by the video here how treacherous the water is out in front of the lighthouse, which is why they built this lighthouse years ago.
We're just about to exit Grand Traverse Bay and pass by the Grand Traverse Light and make our way out to Lake Michigan. As you can see, the swells, they're not too bad, but occasionally we do take a pretty good one. And we get a little bit of spray on the bow. I'm up at the fly bridge. Nothing sprays up this high, but there's a good one. It's going to be a good ride out on the lake. Once we get up this way, we'll make a sharp left and start heading down the coast, and I think the waves will be more with us than against us.
If you listen carefully, you can hear Ed bringing up the speed of the engine. He's going to try to put it on a plane to see if it maybe will travel a little bit smoother.
So we made the corner out into Lake Michigan, put her up on a plane. The waves are kind of at our side, a little bit behind, but until we get around this final point, turn further south, they're more at our beam. Just wanted to give you a feel for what it's like in 2 to 4 foot swells with maybe a 1 foot chop on top, going about 24 miles an hour. And there's a pretty good spray. It made it all the way to the flybridge. Out here, we got a freighter. I don't think you can see it though. In the distance, nice red one. The better view is out the back. See the wind whipping the cover on the dinghy and what the waves look like, and the shoreline of Lake Michigan. Always really beautiful. Then we just pass a little sailboat enjoying the breeze out here. Here's a better picture of that freighter we just passed.
I like to sit down in the pilot house when we're traveling, especially in rough weather. It just feels a little more stable to me, and I'm enclosed with windows all around and pretty good view down there. This is nuts. Out on Lake Michigan, going past Glen Lake, where the family reunion is supposed to be next year. Sailboat out here. It's kind of a rough day, but we got it up on a plane, so it's taking it pretty good. Look at those beautiful sand dunes.
Inside the flybridge, we're still headed down the lake, and we're headed by an area called Pyramid Point. Gorgeous sand dune area that is taking us through the isinglass, but it's a beautiful area. It was small, we could get a little bit closer, but this point is real shallow. We're only in 70 feet of water, and we're probably a mile offshore, but it's a beautiful area. I'm outside on the upper flybridge. Just wanted to give you a little shot of that Pyramid Point. Not looking through the isinglass. It's a beautiful coastline here as we head south down to our next stop. Freebird's picking out a good rooster tail. We're traveling about 24 miles an hour.
This is from down in the pilot house, looking out the window at the Betsy Point Lighthouse as we pass by. It looks like Ed got a better shot of Betsy Point Lighthouse from up in the flybridge.
Heading south down the coast of Lake Michigan. We've got Freebird on plane going about 24 miles an hour. And from these two clips, you can see Maureen's perspective of what it's like traveling in a somewhat rough seas in Lake Michigan, and the difference between
the view that I have up in the flybridge when we're traveling along at this speed. From the flybridge, the waves don't look as large, but I sure can feel the up and down and back and forth motion when you're up here. It feels a lot smoother from the pilot house where Maureen likes to hang out on rough days.
My view looking out the window in the pilot house store. Days like this, I really need to be careful and hang on as I'm moving around the boat. Especially if you're trying to get down these stairs to go to the bathroom.
Long runs of several hours or more at high RPM, you really need to keep an eye on the gauges to make sure everything is operating correctly. rough days like this, when you're trying to cover 100 miles or more, I would never attempt this if I really didn't trust my equipment and the boat. As usual, Freebird performed flawlessly again today.
We're almost to Manistee, so we came down off a plane. The waves have settled down. Got some rollers, but glad we were able to take a quick trip on top of these instead of battling it out, rolling. Still got some very nice shoreline to enjoy. Heading into Manistee.
We're in Manistee by the fishing fleet, and this, I don't know if it's a woodchuck or what it is, just walked across the dock and is hanging out in the sun. And there he's crawling into his little house down under the dock, I believe. He's not really afraid of me. I got pretty close, but I think I'm more afraid of him. I think he's waiting for me to give him a fish. You get nothing. This is the Manistee fishing fleet. Looks like this guy is well fed. This morning we're at the Manistee Municipal Marina, and the Century Boat Club is here. Manistee is the original location, actually not the original, Milwaukee was, but in 1928 the Century boats moved to Manistee, and it was here for many, many years, 60 some odd years. Unfortunately, I don't believe they're around anymore in the original form, but a great selection of Century boats are here on display. This is one of my favorites, Centuries, here with the gull wing roof, pretty cool. And some old wood ones and some newer fiberglass ones. I think the latest one I saw was from the 70s.
Remember me for centuries and just want to stay. It's all it will take. We'll go down in history. Remember me for centuries. Remember me for centuries. And I can't stop till the whole world knows my name, 'cause I was only born inside my dreams.
A couple blocks away from the water in Manistee is kind of a downtown area, but just a tremendous old public library here. And this is called the Ramsdale Center for the Arts. It's a theater, and it looks like a real interesting place.
Do you want any of that? Me? I'm good.
Buddy Jeremy's a sure guy at Key West. Oh. Guys fly in and fly out. They'll go catch fish and they never want it.
Really?
Yeah, he sells them.
Yeah, I heard.
Oh, dude, you're getting $20 a pound for group. $24 a pound or something like that.
He got
Freebird in Manistee. Last day. We'll leave tomorrow and head out. Sailboat coming out.